Welcome back to Main Street, the Craig L. Hayes Show. Welcome back, everybody, to Main Street. This is Craig L. Hayes, the guy, the man, the whatever you want to call me.
The myth, the
The
legend.
myth, the legend. Yeah, myth would be a good one. The myth.
Mythical.
I'm mythical. It's all mythical. We're sitting here with Wendell Snow still, and we're going to have one little quick episode here and just talk about a few other little things. Before he has to get up and get out of here and mosey on down the road.
That's right.
A little bit about the youth. What was your, just go back in time a little bit, and then we'll go and we'll wrap it up on what you foresee as some of the future things going on in town and a couple other things, because you're part of the appraisal system. Things aren't the best on the appraisal sides right now. So let's go back in time. When you were a kid, what things did you enjoy the most being here in Vegas with your compadres at 12, 13, 14, 15-year-olds? You know, there was scouting, obviously. You and Scott were doing a lot of scouting stuff together. And but what was it that held your interest, and what did you like doing, you know?
So one of my hobbies was model trains. I really like model trains, still like model trains. I don't have anything set up currently, but I have a lot of stuff in boxes and things like that. But but as a youth, I was very much into model trains, and in fact, your brother Scott or Whitney and a neighbor John Van Betten and I sort of had an informal little group. We would get together and talk about trains, and we actually organized a club, and you had to bring $1 each time, and we'd use that to purchase things. I set up a set in my backyard. And, I had visions of grandeur, but anyway, so for a minute, we were trying to get something going. But I'd love to someday have a set, set up somewhere in a dedicated room, kind of a thing. But that was something I enjoyed as a youth, with model trains.
What scale?
HO.
Okay.
Although later on in life, I kind of got into the O gauge, the Lionel stuff. But I think HO is probably it's a better format, honestly. A lot easier, lot more stuff, a lot less expensive than O gauge. Oh my goodness, O gauge is just off the rails. Yeah, and but especially the Lionel stuff. Oh my gosh, so crazy expensive. But anyway, so that was something I liked a lot as a kid. I certainly enjoyed going camping as a kid. In fact, I served as a staff member for 4 years in a row at Camp Del Webb, which was a property that the local Boulder Dam Area Council owned, which is now the Las Vegas Area Council, I think they've called it now.
Yep.
But being a staff member for 4 years in a row was a really good experience, being up in the Cedar Break Mountains and being able to, we would spend 5 to 10 weeks up at Del Webb as a staff member, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. Being, because it reminded me a lot of the South Island of New Zealand, being up in the Cedar Breaks, and green and trees and mountains and stuff like that. And so that's something I enjoyed doing over the summer was being a staff member. And then once I got my driver's license, I enjoyed driving around. I actually had a dune buggy, a street legal dune buggy.
Oh, I remember that one. Yeah.
Yeah. I loved it. Man, it was great. I used to go out to what is now Green Valley, but there was nothing there at the time, and just go off-roading and just really wreck the poor dune buggy. Wish I still had it. I bought it for $500, and I looked online not too long ago, and you can buy a hammered one for about $6,000.
Wow.
And
Wow.
oh my goodness, yeah. Wish I still had it, but so that was something I enjoyed doing was just driving and doing a little off-roading and yeah. So I honestly, Vegas was just a great town to be a youth in. A lot of fun stuff. It was great to go to the church dances. And after the church dance, go to Macayo's.
Yeah.
And this Mexican restaurant that was on Charleston Boulevard. And boy, you could get a big TCT, toasted cheese tortilla, and some chips and dip, all for less than like $3 or $4. And you and a bunch of friends out till about 1 or 2 in the morning. and not being drunk, not being drugged up, and not doing anything immoral, but just having a good time. And so, yeah, that was great. Good youth.
And you and Scott also got drug in eventually into, and your brother Brad, into participating and helping on the old sound system, Cavs
Right,
on the
right.
church dances and helping the church dances and stuff. Those were good times, man.
Yeah, yep,
That was some fun stuff. Some of that stuff your brother and I started,
yep,
and Bobby and yeah, I look back at the pictures of the three of us and I just wow,
yep. No, DJing through the 80s, man, that was great.
that was good stuff. And, we never made a dime because we'd always go out and buy the latest records every week, and then we'd record them all so we could find them on tape easier than finding albums.
Right,
And then when we got paid, we'd use part of that money to go get some more albums, more tapes, and stuff like
right.
that. Then
More
we'd go out and
equipment.
more equipment, and then we'd go out and go to like Mikhail's or have a
Right.
good meal afterwards. And
Yep, blow most of the money.
yeah, we never made a dime on anything,
Right.
But it was so much fun doing that stuff.
Good times.
And then the recording studio came along with your brother and I, and
Right.
it's been quite the interesting ride for the last 40 plus years, 45 years,
Right.
going on 46 now, and so in the appraisal business, and what is we're just going to talk a little bit about the future.
Sure.
We talked a little bit about the past now, and we can talk a little bit about future. And are things going to make it better for people in the marketing? Because to me, houses are too expensive for kids. New buyers, first time buyers right now, and I don't know the solution to fixing any of it.
Right.
And I
Yeah, it's interesting. The value of a house is expensive. The median price for a house in Las Vegas for December, which is the latest month with all the stats, was 475,000 for the average house here in Las Vegas. And actually, but it's a pretty decent house. I think the average size was 1,700 square feet. That's a decent size for a median house.
mm-hmm.
And it's a newer home too. It's not an oldie, and so when you compare that to California, it's amazing. And because the same thing in California is like $800,000.
Wow.
And of course, it depends where in California. So I'm thinking mostly Southern California, the LA area, and so it's not outrageous compared to other markets across the country. You go into just about any major metropolitan area throughout the country, and I think the national median price was like $380. So it's not not
So
wild.
it's not wildly above it. So it's
Right.
okay.
And it's a hot market, so it would be priced higher, and so we're not too far off the mark. The challenging thing is the median income in this town does not match that median price.
No, the wages haven't kept up with the price of the house and the costs. So how do the people afford it? That's the problem right there. In this area, I know this area pretty well. What is like a house in this area cost now?
Yeah, so just these older homes built in the '60s that average about 1,500 square feet are about $400,000, and
Are you kidding me?
no, they've they're like I think 375 is kind of the low end, unless you buy one that's hammered, and you can still pick up a hammered home for a little under 300, and but there's a lot of people fighting for that too, a lot of investors or flippers, people who want to buy it, fix it up, and flip it.
Yeah.
And but yeah, they're pretty expensive. I think Mark, their home sold not too long ago for actually I can't remember now off the top of my head, but just recently his folks' old house sold.
Oh, they're on
And,
Burnham.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
and I think it was over 380 if I'm not
Wow.
mistaken. Yeah, and so
That's just mind blowing.
yeah, it's a
I-
chunk of change. The first house I bought in this neighborhood, we bought for 108 in 2000, and we ended up selling it in 2005 for 241, and because that's right when the market was just going absolutely haywire on a hot rise,
Yeah.
and before it crashed, and so we more than doubled our money in a short period of time.
And you're still in the house you bought with that money, right? And
Yeah, yeah.
over
So
there.
from the sale of that house, we moved into another home, a bigger home on a bigger piece of property, and we bought it for 275, and at the peak it had appraised at like 500. Some guy came in and appraised at 500.
Wow.
But then 2 years later, it was down under almost what we owed, and so yeah, it was kind of interesting to ride through that. But
Now it's back probably up around the 500 or so. And
yeah, it's close. It's funny is the market has become compressed is kind of the term I used, where the bottom margin and the top margin are sort of getting, and all the value in between is being compressed, because anything under $300,000 people are fighting for all day long, and so the price keeps kind of bumping up on the bottom end of the range, and at the top end of the range, there's only so much money, so many millionaires. Although last year highest sale, $25,250,000. For a home in wasn't McDonald Highlands. It's in the Henderson area, but just a big house on a big piece of property, modern, very very modern home, and 25,250,000.
just knowing that there's people in this town that got that kind of money just to spend
Yep.
on a house. Wow.
Yep.
Good for them. I mean, success is great.
Right.
I love seeing that. Interest rates going to come down. I think somewhere around summer they're going to come down, because I think we're going to get some new action happening, and get business happening for you guys and your business. Because I know you guys are all like, well, anybody want to sell a house I can appraise right now? Be
Well,
nice.
actually, the home sales is not so bad, but half my work used to be refinances and people refinancing. But right now, there aren't too many people who would benefit from a refinance, because they either have a really good low rate from 2020 to 2021, or they just bought within the last year or two where they're stuck at 6 to 7%, and there's no benefit to refinancing.
There's no movement down.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what I have seen smart people doing who need to get a little bit of cash or do something, is they'll do like a second, because you can actually get a halfway decent rate on a second mortgage, and that way you're not messing with your first, but you can still get some cash and or do whatever you need to do, wrap in some high interest loans, and or a home equity line of credit is another thing that people have been doing, and so. Because I think, like on a second, you can pick one up for about 7.5%, 8%, which is not that outrageously above what a first would be.
Yeah. And a lot of people sit there and they look at the market today and they cringe, and I agree, because house prices have gone up, and then you add the interest on top, and that really is hard to do. But when house prices were low and the interest was higher, like when I bought my first house, it was 9%.
Right.
And if that was a really good rate, I even bought it down a little bit to keep it at 9, because it was 9.5, 10, or whatever it was for a normal one, and I bought it down, trying to keep a monthly payment down.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it went down to where you can get them 3-4%, whatever.
Yeah, lowest it got down to was 2.8.
That's unbelievable.
And not too many people got to jump in on that, because it was during COVID, and just being able to qualify. People were either out of work or because things were shut down. Let me see, I've got the piece of paper right here. So December of 2020, it got down to 2.67%.
Wow.
And then by October 2023, it was up to 7.79%, and that's kind of been the high mark lately. But I've got this 30-year fixed rate mortgage thing from the U.S. Department, and in 1981, October 1981, interest rates peaked at 18.53%. And in 81, boy, that would have been miserable. 18%, 19%.
That was
basically.
October?
Yeah, October 1981. So.
Yeah, I remember those years. I was trying to fix things from Carter's time in office and stuff. That was some rough years there.
Right.
Boy, I'll tell you.
Yep. Yeah, we came in 1980, and my parents were able to take on an assumable loan that was at, I think it was at 9%, which was amazing. Because I think the prevailing rate when we purchased the home in 1980 was like 11.5%.
Yeah.
And then it shot up to 18.53 in October of '81. So.
Wow, that's amazing, isn't it? But the rise and fall of interest rates, that's not going to stop. That's
Right.
what happens.
Market cycle, you know.
Yeah.
So
Are you sticking around in this area till the day you die, you think?
yeah, well, actually, the wife and I would love to end up in northern Nevada somewhere, small town somewhere, and you know, sort of as a way to slow things down a bit, if you will. And her license and my license are good for the entire state. You know, her teacher license and my appraisal license. So, you know, we could start up a business, you know, anywhere in the state.
Winnemucca.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like saying that word, Winnemucca.
Right. Yeah.
Makes you sound so Native American.
Right.
Where do you live? Winnemucca.
Yeah, I really like Ely. I think Ely's kind of a cool little town.
Yeah, it is really taken off too over the years.
Right.
It's,
And I've actually done appraisals up through Lincoln County and through a good portion of Nye County. And
Okay.
you know, Lincoln County's got Pioche, Panaca, Caliente, all these cool little towns. And then Nye County, you know, you get up into, besides Pahrump, there's Round Mountain, and you get up into a few other really small communities. You know, but I think northern Nevada, so we can have a cooler climate, sounds better to
Yeah.
me. Getting
And-
sick and tired of 115 degree
yeah,
summers.
Panaca is, you know, on the same line, east-west basically, as where I'm at, Enterprise.
Right,
You know,
right.
Panaca, Enterprise, Cedar City are on that Highway
Right.
56 that goes straight across.
Right. It's a quaint little town, man.
Yeah. And I've only been through Panaca that I can remember at nighttime, so I've never really seen the town or what there is to it. But
Not much.
yeah, as I remember, I blinked twice and I was through it. So,
Yeah.
but that'd be cool. You know, Nevada, stick around Nevada, and yeah, there's still a lot of good stuff here in Vegas. I love coming back and doing interviews and doing stuff down here, and you know, but it's still not the Vegas of what I grew up in.
Right.
But
no.
you know, nothing can be expected to stay the same.
Yeah, it's
either,
not
so-
going back.
No, it's not going backwards, people. But anything else you want to say before we wrap up your interview here and
No,
the
just
road and find any words of wisdom from your life's experience?
let's see. I don't know. I'm unwise.
I asked my grandfather that one time when he was dying of cancer, and I said, Grandpa, you got any words of wisdom? He goes, I got so many words of wisdom, I just can't remember any of them.
That's right. Buy low, sell high. That's my.
Yeah, I've gotten so old. I've gotten so old, I just can't remember any of them anymore.
Right.
They're all gone. I have a bunch of them.
Yep.
I'm in that ballpark with my kids and grandkids too. So.
All right.
So, Wendell, thank you very much for coming in here.
Yep, you're welcome.
Spending the time with us, or spending time with me, and doing this. And folks, I encourage you to listen to the show and the other shows that I have going, which are called It's Showtime, the Craig L. Hayes Show, and the Craig L. Hayes Show. Craig L. Hayes Show. Just Thinking. That's the other one, man. Keeping track of all these is getting impossible anymore. And I actually have a fourth one, but I've not touched it yet. You know, I'm not going to do anything with that one. 3 is way too much. But anyhow, thank you, Wendell. Thanks
You're
for coming
welcome.
in, man.
Thanks, Craig.
Good seeing you again, and
to see you too.
we'll see you around again next time we go to lunch or dinner with your brother and my brother, and
All right. Sounds good.
we'll all get together and have some fun. Have a good old feed going on, mate.
Yep. Good as gold, mate.
All right, you take care. Until then, thank you for listening to Main Street, the Craig L. Hayes Show.